Okay, you guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. It's been a little bit since I filmed a video, just summer craziness. You know how it is. Summer, I feel like it's just a very busy time for a lot of us. Let me know, how's your summer going? Is it good? Is it busy, chaotic? Let me know in the comments. But I was wondering, what video am I going to come back with? It's been a while. I need to film something. I had a couple ideas in mind. I was going to do another dad and daughter dream team update. I was going to do an update on the Saucony Jolie's. I had some ideas, but when I went on to TikTok, the story that came up, you might have heard of it. Let me know. A stranger photography session gone just wrong, I guess. It's truly just an insane story. It keeps getting worse. More characters, if you will, are getting added to the story, to the discussion every time I go and look into it more. More stuff keeps popping up. I keep getting new information. So it's a crazy one. It's a cautionary tale, if you will. If you're out there in the dating world right now, I hear it's the wild, wild west. So uh buckle up. Let's get into it. Okay, so if you don't know what a stranger photography session is, they sort of started taking off in the last few years. Basically, a photographer tries to match up two single strangers for a couple style photo shoot. There's a whole application process to it, so it's kind of like matchmaking. At the same time, it's not a dating service. It's more kind of, trying to capture a genuine chemistry between two willing participants, two strangers. And within that, there's always that, fun possibility that it could work out, that the two strangers could hit it off, they start dating, whatever. But again, that's not the goal, that's not a guarantee. It's more just a fun experience, a unique experience, something if you are, wanting to try something new, something fun, that's what it is. It's not a matchmaking service. So there was this photographer from Georgia, and she posted a video about just this, that she had this whole thing. She wanted two strangers to do the stranger photography session, and she posted how it went. And I'm going to share it with you now. At face value, it looks like it went pretty well.
My name is Paige. I'm from Adairsville and I'm feeling a little nervous, but I'm excited.
Jake from Kingston, and I'm nervous, but I'm pretty excited.
I think this was probably the funnest experience I've had in my life. I had a really good time. Chelsea did a great job. I think it went very well. I would 100% do it again.
The entire experience was absolutely wonderful. I got to see the photos as they were taking them, and they looked phenomenal. I think everything went really well. So they did a really good job.
Again, you think that went well, right? They both looked like they had a good time. The pictures turned out so, so, so nice. And they both seemed like they had a good time. I mean, that's what they were saying. So, like I said, at face value, it seemed like a good experience. Even if they didn't have romantic sparks, even if that chemistry wasn't flowing, it's okay. Looked like a good time. They could have just been left at that. Was it? Absolutely not. But in the caption of this video, Chelsea wrote, watching two people meet for the very first time while capturing genuine laughs, conversations, and chemistry made this such a memorable experience. Whether this turns into a friendship, something more, or simply a fun story they'll always have, we are so grateful to have been a part of it. Exactly. It could have just been a fun story, a friendship, even, or nothing at all. But the man in the video went to TikTok. His name's Jacob. He went to TikTok to kind of discuss how he is fed up. He's so fed up about what, you might ask. How does this relate to a stranger photography session and a man being fed up? He's fed up of being catfished.
When you go out and you do this shit, you have to understand the second I see who you are, it's over. Yesterday, I went on a stranger session thing, and I know how a stranger session works. If you don't know how it works, the photographer meets you up with somebody it's like a blind date. Now, this photographer asked what I wanted, and I gave her an AI photo that showed exactly what I wanted to a detail. Like the AI photo I have, she's perfect. I'm like, she's not real. I gave her every detail she could possibly need. And the girl that she picked, based on the photos that girl had presented to her, she was perfect. The photos that the photographer showed me at the very end of it, she's like, this is what she looked like. I'm like, if she had looked like that, that would have been fucking perfect, dude. She had a great personality, and she was beautiful. She just was maybe 100 pounds heavier than her pictures were. And I wish I was joking. And that's not to sit here and be ugly. Like, I'm literally saying that there is a difference between that. How she looked and how she is now. Call me shallow. Call me an asshole. Call me whatever you want. I have a preference. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this person. I think I have every right to feel that level of attraction towards them. I'm sorry I don't find somebody who is plus size to be attracted to me. I don't find it to be. People call me shallow because I have a rule. I will not date you if you're wider than I am. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't want to come across as ugly, but I also have standards. How can I expect you to love me and take care of me if you can't even do that for yourself? You can't. The point is, catfishing will never work at all. And when I went to that stranger session, I walked into into the building they stowed me away in, and I was waiting to come on the other side of the door and see this person for the first time. I'm like, you know what? It's going to be the greatest fucking time. Like, I pray to God this is my wife. The level of disappointment, and I know it was a blind date. I know what I was walking into. The level of disappointment whenever I saw her, I'm like, are you kidding me? I looked at the photographer. I'm like, she had no idea. It's not her fault. The photographer had nothing to do with it. But I looked at her. I'm like, come on, really? After some time, I got to be by myself with the photographer, and she's like, I am so sorry. I'm like, you had no idea. Don't be sorry. But she catfished the photographer. She catfished me. She catfished everybody. I'm like, why? Why did you? The lesson is this: just be yourself. If you're that desperate for someone to love you, wouldn't you want them to love you for who you actually are rather than what you could look like? Come on, like, for fuck's sake, it's not that hard. I want my person to love me for who I am, what I look like. If they don't like a certain part of me, then that's okay. That's their preference. Not everyone's gonna love how the way I look. Nobody's gonna be okay with the way I look, and that's fine. But we can't sit here and play these fucking games and be like, oh, he'll never notice that I'm fucking 100 pounds heavier. Yes, the fuck I will.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm afraid for anyone out there in the dating pool, especially if you are in the area that he lives. Ironically enough, I just had a conversation yesterday with someone talking about kind of being in the dating world, and talking about how specifically men uh, in their 30s, a lot of times are just particularly awful. It's just something about it. And there was, more details and stuff, but it's just kind of ironic that the very next day I find this story and I'm talking about, a man in his 30s and just how his behavior uh, regarding women and dating is just really disturbing and honestly downright heinous. Also, kind of ironic about this man is that apparently he has grown, you know, prior to this experience, he has grown a following on TikTok talking about all of his dating struggles and how, if you have baggage or if you're not ready to be in the dating world, don't join the dating pool. More on him, more on that later. So the photographer Chelsea actually has a response to Jacob. She wrote out a response. I'm going to read that to you in a minute. But before we get to that, I just want to kind of show you how delusional, just bizarre, like I said, his behavior is. Uh, because I guess when he was talking to the photographer beforehand, just about like his dream woman, what he would want, he wasn't using even a celebrity as like, oh, someone maybe who looks like her. Forget about like how the person is, on the inside, but like on the outside, he wasn't saying like, I want someone that looks like this celebrity. No, he showed an AI picture of him and a woman that he generated on AI. What? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Please, someone tell me. So again, he wasn't going into this social experiment, if you will, with just like, oh, this is going to be a fun thing to do. This is something new to try. Like he was going into this thinking he was going to find a a girlfriend, a wife even. Which if you're going you shouldn't go into this type of thing that way. Like that this should really just be a fun thing to do, not something that you're taking really seriously, thinking that like, "Oh, whoever is on the other side of the door when I open it for these pictures is gonna be my wife." Like, you shouldn't be participating. Also, I don't know about you, but and I have not been in the dating world for a long time, long, long time, but are men really creating women on AI and using that as their standard? Is that what we're doing? Tell me that this is just a just him doing this, please. Someone tell me that. Okay, so Chelsea said, "Could we normalize reading comments before commenting the same question 900 times if it's already been answered? My apology was never about agreeing with anyone opinion on her or her appearance or calling it catfishing. It was a general apology to both parties because the situation didn't go the way it was intended, and I acknowledge that it wasn't a clear or comfortable experience for either of them. I also offered both of them another session as a way to make things right. He took that general apology and reframed it online as if I were confirming something about her looks, which I did not say and I do not agree with. My message was about the miscommunication and the fact that this was never meant to be a romantic or dating situation in the first place. If I can find an apology, I don't know if she wrote one out in the comments or what. If I can find that, I will put it up. But I wasn't able to find it when I was putting this all together, so I'm guessing that she must have said sorry to both of them in a way like, "I'm sorry this wasn't what you were expecting." Not sorry that you thought you were catfished. Now, before we get into any more of Jacob's very unnecessary tantrum about this whole situation, let's get the other person's point of view, their side of the story. So, the beautiful woman in the photo's name is Paige, and she posted a really just poised and thoughtful response to this. I feel like she could have really went in heated and, she didn't. Her response is just very much, I think, just says what kind of person that she is. But within this response to everything, she drops a very important piece of lore, if you will, to this whole story. And honestly, I think it is the key piece of information that we needed to understand why Jacob is throwing such a fit about this. Like, why is he making this into such a big thing? Just watch, because I think we have our answer.
Years ago, this would have broke me down and like hurt my feelings. But I am confident who I am. I showed up that day just as I am, just as I'll show up anywhere else. So just know that regardless of what people think or feel about you, how you feel about yourself is what matters. So take this experience that I had as a reminder that everyone is beautiful in their own way. You know, do not let someone ruin your day for their opinion of how they feel when they're just insecure about themselves. You know, I didn't apply to be part of this photo shoot. The photographer reached out to me and I thought it would be fun. I get there, I didn't know what this guy looked like. I had fun. I was not attracted to him. I had no interest in him, but I did the photo shoot. It was a fun experience. I didn't give him my number, and I guess that made him mad, but I didn't wish to go any further. I was trying to be nice. I didn't choose to go to the internet and blast him for how he looked or how he was. So that's what happened, and that's my side.
Super class act from Paige. But did you catch what she said in there? She said, "He asked for my number, and I said no." Good for you, Paige. Yeah, I think it's all starting to add up now, right? I think there lies why he got so mad, because he was not expecting a no from her. And he did not like hearing no. So at first, it kind of seemed like Jacob was, standing by what he said. But as the comments started rolling in and zero of them were in his favor, many were saying he was actually the true catfish. But yeah, at first he posted this picture on his story that said, "Lesson of the day. People will get butthurt and salty when you stand on fact and the truth. It's important to tell those babies to cry about it." Somehow he went from that mindset, standing 10 toes down, to deleting the video. At one point, he made his account private. He's turned comments off. And then at some point, he put out an apology video, which you would think, great, that's a really good first step. But then he deleted the apology video. Uh, so honestly, we should be saying apology video loosely because he deleted it. And if you delete it, I'm just going to assume you did not mean a word of it. But also, kind of just what he was saying in the video. I'm just going to show you. Then you can kind of, you know, come to your own conclusion on it. Somebody saved it. So I'm going to put that for you to watch here.
I don't even know where to begin. Maybe I'm sorry would help. A good place to start, I guess. I can already hear people saying, "Well, you're sorry because everything blew up. You're sorry because you were caught. You were sorry because you see the consequences of your actions." Like pictures that people have made, people tell me to remove my hat, that I'm a hat fisher, which I still don't understand. Like I'm trying my very best to take ownership of it, and I don't know why on earth things had to happen the way that it happened. I don't know why, because of what I said, that it got blown up to such a proportion when people say the more outrageous shit to each other all the time, but nothing gets said about that. All I can do is say I'm sorry. Trying to make any excuses whatsoever, but the reason I did what I did and said what I said is because I'm very insecure. I'm very bitter. I hold a lot of anger. I hold a lot of resentment. I hold a lot of trauma. I mean, I've been through it. What people don't see is the shit that I've been through in my life, and it hasn't been dealt with properly. I'm sorry. You can forgive me or you can move on. I mean,
Yikes. Thank you so much to this generous king for those two very generous options. I will be creating a secret third option, which is to just move on with my day and be normal. But I will add that I think you should go to therapy. Genuinely. Jacob.
So yeah, I'm going to classify that personally as a non-apology. Not only did he delete it, but within it, he kind of made himself the victim when he was the one that started all of this. Again, he could have just chalked it up to a fun experience, something new. Okay, sparks weren't flying, not a big deal. You're allowed to have your preferences, but he's the one that went and put it all out there online, was incredibly cruel about it, but now is all upset that people weren't agreeing with him. All this should have been is a photo shoot, a fun experience. The pictures turned out very, very beautiful, and it should have ended there. It was not a matchmaking service like what he thought. He thought he was meeting his wife. So the photographer Chelsea has posted a couple things to her story that I'm going to be reading to you. I think to kind of just clarify her side of the story a bit because at least from what I'm gathering, it does seem like Jacob might have been trying to kind of throw her under the bus with everything, that she made some type of false promise when that was just not the case. So she put up this conversation. It looks like Jacob reached out to her. I'll let you read all of this. But she's basically saying that she had an original match that for him, that was not Paige. He canceled on that because he had a date lined up with someone else, and then I don't know, so that fell through. I don't know, so he wanted to do the stranger session again, and she said, "Of course," but it was gonna be somebody different. He wanted somebody local, and so that's how she matched him with Paige. But just even reading one part, he's like, "I definitely want you to know that I'm not angry at the slightest bit. You did try, and there was no way you could have known what happened, but thank you for tonight. I did have fun for it despite her not being anything like I thought she would be." You seem pretty angry, Jacob. You seem pretty angry. Then she threw up another story basically saying that Paige never lied about her weight. She had sent her pictures that were full body photos from that day with what she was planning on wearing to the photo shoot, and that she never apologized for how Paige looked and to stop twisting the narrative. That so much needs to be clarified about Paige's looks, her appearance, when this man looks like a damn thumb. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I saw another screenshot going around and I don't know where this came from, so take that for what it's worth, but it was Jacob messaging another photographer about the situation, and within the messages he threw Chelsea under the bus. So again, I don't know where those screenshots came from, but it does seem like he, in a lot of ways, is trying to throw her under the bus. Like, she told me it was going to be one way, because again, he thought this was a matchmaking service. But if you thought the story ended there, you were wrong. I told you there's some other characters that come into it throughout the story. It's not just between two people. Because a woman named Becca has come forward and she has had an experience with Jacob from last year. Her video is 8 minutes long, so I'm not going to show you the entire thing. I'll put a couple clips in, but essentially, she had matched with him last year. I don't know on what dating app, if it was Hinge or what. But she said, at first he was nice. He made an effort with the conversations. It was clear that he actually went through her profile and was trying to find things that were of interest to her to talk about, and he seemed like a nice guy. And so she was giving him a shot. She hadn't actually met him, and he sent her a screen recording of him deleting all of his dating apps because he was going to be putting all of his effort and time into her. And she said, "No, please don't do that because I'm not doing that. I want to explore any connections I make in the online dating world right now. I'm not committing to you. We haven't even met." And he said, "That's okay. But that's what I'm gonna be doing." And then from there, they still haven't met. It was almost like he was love bombing her, but hadn't met her at that point. He was, reaching out a lot, saying a lot of things that she said. I think she said in her video, it's things you would think you'd want to hear from someone, but like not someone that you've never met. It was too much. And then he was planning out their first date, whatever their first date was gonna be. She said he was planning out like a 5-hour first date. They were gonna go to dinner, ice cream, mini golf, all these things, and she wasn't super comfortable with it because she's never met him before. So to dedicate 5 hours to a stranger seemed like a lot. And so she was kind of unsure about it, and then during this time, she got a message from one of her friends who connected with him on a dating app, and that's where she was like, "Wait a second. You're you've been lying." So I'm gonna show you some clips.
She basically said, "How do you know this guy, Jake?" Because he had added me on Facebook. He added me on all social media. And I was like, you can see the message. We've been talking on social media. And it sounds like it's past tense, but I had still technically been talking to him at this point. And this is the guy that told me he deleted all of his dating apps to speak to me. So I immediately sent him all of that. And I was like, I don't know why you make this effort to make it sound like you only want to talk to one girl at one time, and you're clearly still on the dating apps, which is fine, but the lying about it and trying to act like you're a certain kind of gentleman and you only talk to one girl, like, it's too much. Like, I do not want to go out with you, blah blah blah. He flipped out on me, blocked me, whatever. Fine, cool, moving on with my life. I was scrolling TikTok a few months later and he came up on my For You page because he has a TikTok with, like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30,000 followers, where he just talks about his boohoo woes of dating, how women don't like him and how he's such a gentleman, how he wants to do all these nice things, and he likes to like yell at the camera and like lecture, like, if you're not fully healed, you shouldn't be dating. I go and binge his page. And at that time, he was talking to like another girl, I think, that he had met online, and he was like posting her and posting her and posting her, like, oh, I can't wait to meet this beautiful girl. And I had a couple glasses of wine. I'm sober now, but I had a couple glasses of wine, and I was like, I'm just gonna leave a comment. And I said something like, oh, glad you found somebody, but just to give you some feedback from when we were talking, I think you get a little bit intense with people quick, and maybe just calm it down. Maybe I shouldn't have commented that. Maybe the wine shouldn't have talked, but he basically went off on me saying, I'm just upset because I lost the best thing that I could have ever had, and how I was just going to be like a sorry loser alone forever, which is just funny because a couple months after that, I met my now fiance. So I don't think I'm the problem.
So yeah, she definitely saved herself quite a bit by not going on a date with him. But I am curious if more people, more women are going to come forward with their experience with him. Because the very least, the way that he has handled this shows he is incredibly insecure. If someone turning you down sends you into such a spiral where you're publicly insulting their appearance and trying to tear them down when, again, they didn't do anything to you. You had a good time. You even told Chelsea, the photographer, I had fun. And then you go and on TikTok and do that. It's like, maybe the internet is not the place for you. I also saw somebody make a really good point, and I forget if it was a video, like a someone reacting to it on TikTok or a comment, but they said he has kids, and I don't know if he has sons or daughters or both or what, but if he does have a daughter, how would he feel if someone was talking about his daughter that way someday when she's old enough to be out there in the dating world? He wouldn't want that for her, I'm sure. The level of just cruelty from this man, it just feels so unnecessary. Again, especially towards Paige, whose only true offense towards him was saying no. There's that saying, you ever hear it, where men will do anything but go to therapy, and, Jacob is doing absolutely nothing to disprove that. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this one. I just thought it was a really wild one. Like, he's the one putting it all out there, and then he's surprised at the reaction to it. You're the one that pressed record there, buddy. You're the one that posted it. You're the one that agreed to do a stranger photography session. I do hope that, Paige, the woman in these pictures, is feeling all the love, because I have seen nothing but support towards her, and she did nothing wrong, and she looked stunning in it, truly stunning. So I hope she is doing okay. I hope she's doing more than okay. But anyway, you guys, I hope that you did enjoy this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Let me know if you're in the dating world right now. Is it as brutal as I hear? Goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I feel for you if you are. Um, but I do think that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully I see you guys next time. Bye.